Hi, my name's Sherry Sanders, and I'm a county extension agent working in White County as a part of the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture, and this is Agriculture. This series is a YouTube series and a podcast series where we celebrate women working in the field of agriculture in the state of Arkansas. And today I'm in far northeast Arkansas at a little community called St. Francis, just out of Piggott, and we are at Pumpkin Hollow. Today, I'm going to introduce you, and our guest will be for the entire month, Ellen Dalton of Pumpkin Hollow. And this is Ellen's story.
So we got married in 1965. I was just out of high school. Daryl he was 2 years older. The Vietnam War was going on. It was a super scary time. It was really scary. We decided to go ahead and get married. And at one point, you know, there was the draft, so you had to register with Selective Service. And so at one point, he actually got called to Little Rock. And I forgot what they call that, but you had to go for selection, whatever you want to call it. And he did not have to go because he had a brother, but he was gone from home. His dad had a health problem and was not able to farm. There was a crop in the field and nobody to get it out. And so he got an exemption for that, so he didn't have to go to the draft. By the time the next little letter came, I was already pregnant, and so you know, that he didn't have to go for that. They were still exempting for that at the time, and by the time then that had moved on, it was winding down, and so they, you know, we didn't have to get called. But Daryl was farming. He was farming his dad's ground because his dad was not able to farm, and he had a little business in Piggott too. So he started out farming, and I worked for a little while for an attorney in Kennett, and then I came to Piggott to the hospital and worked in the clerical and receptionist type job for 5 years, and worked there when my oldest daughter was born and when my second daughter was born. And one evening, it was like, oh, I don't feel like I'm making any money here, time you pay child care and all that. We sat down, I'll never forget, we sat down one Sunday night with a pencil and paper, figured out what it was costing me to drive to work, what it was costing for meals, what it was costing for clothes, babysitting, everything we could think of. And we came to the conclusion I was missing out on my kids for $5 a week is what we finally came to the conclusion of. I liked the job I had, but it didn't pay very well. And so I quit. And we about starved for a while. Daryl had gone to work at Emerson Electric over at Kennett in the factory, as a lot of his farming friends had done. Farming like it does, it cycles bad and ugly and better, and so he had gone to, we had a child, a 9-month-old baby, and you know, not much income, so he had gone to work at that factory and was farming, and so he would work at night in the factory, farm during the daytime, and he was always kind of hyper, so he managed that better than I would have. But you know, our second little girl was born, and I quit when she was 6 months old. But I was working a day shift, Daryl was working a night shift, and honest to goodness, she barely knew her daddy. So about 6 months old, he also quit his factory job, and we just immersed ourselves into the farming thing. And it was a struggle, it was a big struggle. We got in this site where Pumpkin Hollow is, we had a big hog farm for a lot of years. I mean, a lot of hogs. You know, for back then it was more than anybody in the whole area. So we did that. We had cattle. We still farmed his dad's crop ground, and we were marching along pretty well till the hog market. That whole thing changed dramatically. We had been taking a lot of our hogs for what they call grade and yield to Memphis, and it was a John Morrell company. It closed, so we were losing our market. Feed got high, prices got cheap, and one of those things. Sound familiar maybe? And so we got out of the hog business, and that is kind of where it took a few years still. We started baling a lot of straw bales, wheat straw bales in the summer to, supplement that income. Over in Missouri, there was a farmer we knew that raised, lots and lots of acres of wheat, and he would let us come by in his combine baling wheat straw, and we'd sell them to the highway department, or, we had a pretty good market for that. And we sometimes sold horse hay, good quality horse hay. So we've done all kinds of things, whatever it took to keep from starving to death. But, we hit that stretch in the late 80s and early 90s where our friends and neighbors, everybody, people all around us were just falling out like flies out of the farm business, kind of what it feels like right now. And we just hang on by a thread, basically. And then we sort of had this idea for Pumpkin Hollow presented, and I was the biggest naysayer of all, I have to say. My brother-in-law and my husband both just kept pushing the idea. So the first year, we gave every kid who came a little mini pumpkin in a sack and a coupon to come back for the weekend, charged $1. At the end of the season, had we made any money? That would be a big fat no, but we saw the potential. And so I'll never forget the second year, I sent out the flyers again, and I raised the price to $2.50. And one of the bigger schools at Paragould, the superintendent called me, and he was not happy with me. And I said, well, we can't do it for $1. And he went ahead and sent. And so, over the years, things have changed from what we were using, maybe an acre here, parking people along the side of the road, and changed to, we're using, close to 70, 80 acres now, counting parking, and it's vastly different. Never would have dreamed. People ask me that question, did I have any idea this would be what it is? And the answer is no, absolutely I did not. Basically, sometimes when you get in those times when you're just struggling to survive, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, is trying to survive. And I certainly wasn't looking down the road 33 years, so.